10 p.m. tonight, and skies are going to be mostly clear. You get a great sunset, but there's a big storm we need to talk about in Utah's most accurate forecast coming up. News for Utah at 5 starts right now.
Mr. Baum could die for what he allegedly did on the night of on or about December 30th of 2017.
Now at 5, charges are filed against the man accused of killing 2 teenagers in Eureka, Utah.
Plus, Salt Lake County reports the first deaths due to the hepatitis A outbreak. We'll have more on the growing health alert. And a local energy company takes a big step to clean up vehicle emissions. We'll tell you about some new fuel expected to hit the market next year. News for Utah is following some breaking news from San Bruno, California. Several people have been injured in a shooting at the YouTube headquarters there. Authorities say a woman found dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot is believed to be the shooter. The
nearby hospitals have confirmed they are treating those shooting victims. There appear to be 8 total, 1 in critical condition. The police chief in San Bruno is still describing that scene as an active event.
Upon arrival, officers encountered numerous employees fleeing from the building. It was very chaotic, as you can imagine.
About 1,700 people work on the YouTube campus. California Highway Patrol, the FBI, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives are all on the scene there. We're going to continue to monitor the shooting, and you can expect the latest developments in about 30 minutes on World News Tonight with David Muir. And good evening, I'm Kim Fisher.
And I'm Don Hudson. Thank you very much for being with us. You know, the man accused of killing 2 Utah teenagers and throwing their bodies down a mine shaft could get the death penalty. Today, prosecutors in Utah County charged Jared Baum with 8 felony charges, including 2 counts of aggravated murder for the deaths of Riley Powell and Breezy Otterson. News for Utah's Marcos Ortiz is live in Provo, where Baum made his first court appearance. So, Marcos, do we know if he will end up facing the death penalty?
Well, the Utah County prosecutor is not ready to commit whether or not they'll pursue the death penalty, but the families of Breezy and Riley say the death penalty is the right punishment for Baum. It was the first time family of the victims Jared Baum is accused of murdering saw him.
Puts a face to what happened to those kids.
Court records show Baum has been in trouble with the law since he was a teenager, but none of the crimes compared to what he's accused of now. Among the charges, 2 counts of aggravated murder for the deaths of Breezy Otterson and Riley Powell.
Now, the 2 first counts of aggravated murder carry with it the potential of the death penalty. This is a potential capital case. Mr. Baum could die for what he allegedly did on the night of on or about December 30th of 2017.
But prosecutors won't decide that until later in the court process. Outside the courtroom, family members of the 2 teens say the death penalty is appropriate.
Death penalty. And I'm not saying 5, 6, 10, 20, 50 years down the road. Take him out back and do it. Since the judge says you're guilty, do it.
We want the maximum, we want justice for these kids, and if the death penalty is what it is, then we're going to stand for it. These kids didn't deserve that.
The bodies of the teens who disappeared in late December were discovered last week. It came after Baum's girlfriend, Morgan Henderson, told law enforcement where the bodies were. Charging documents claim Breezy was forced to watch Riley be beaten and stabbed. She was then stabbed and tossed into the mine shaft. Henderson told authorities as they walked to the mine, Baum was congratulating them after learning Breezy was pregnant.
She was not. Our best information is that she was not pregnant.
We did everything together. And it's just hard to actually realize that they're gone now. Really gone.
As for Morgan Henderson, Baum's girlfriend, the investigation isn't over, but prosecutors say she'll likely be charged with obstruction of justice charges for now. She's due in court this Thursday. And in Provo, Marcos Ortiz, News for Utah.
Hi, Marcos. Thank you very much. Funeral plans, by the way, have been announced for Breezy Otterson and Riley Powell. There are actually going to be 2 funeral services. The first one, it will be held this Saturday at Tintic High. That's in Eureka. The second service is next Saturday, April 14th. That will be at an LDS church in Tooele. It's located at 180 South Coleman Street. All these details can be found along with this story on our website at goodforutah.com.
A health alert from Salt Lake County. 2 people are now dead, victims of that current hepatitis A outbreak. According to the health department, that first person died in January, the second in late March. Both adults were part of a population considered high risk by health officials. The state has now seen 212 cases, with 148 of those being in Salt Lake County. That Utah outbreak began last summer. It's been linked to the national outbreak that was first reported in San Diego, California. A man from Phoenix, Arizona is accused of kidnapping a girl in St. George and keeping her as his pet. He's now facing human trafficking charges. News 4 Utah's Lauren Mathias has the story.
Police say the girl met the man online. He told her he lived 30 minutes away, and if they met, he'd bring her home in a couple days. Charging documents state instead the man took the girl to Arizona, tied her up, assaulted her, and told her repeatedly she was his pet.
Realized that they weren't going where he'd said. When she asked if he was going to bring her home within the time needed, he told her no.
The alleged kidnapping happened in St. George in June. 37-year-old Raymond Burke was arrested and charged in Arizona after police say the victim was able to access a phone and message a friend where she was. But today, Burke also faces human trafficking of a child and aggravated kidnapping in Utah.
Utah is able to place our charges on this suspect because it's important that these people who may want to do these criminal things to our children know that there are serious consequences and that they will be pursued.
Charging documents state Burke tied the teen to a bed while he went to work, sexually and physically abused her, and when she asked to go home, he replied she was his little pet and was keeping her forever.
Know what your children are doing, and if they're under 18, they're children. Be on their social media, check their phones, check any device they have that has internet connection, and know what they're doing, know who they're talking to.
The Utah Attorney General's office is coordinating prosecution with authorities in Arizona where Burke remains in custody. In St. George, Lauren Mathias, News 4 Utah.
Burke is considered a flight risk and is being held on a cash-only bond.
In Murray, detectives say you may be missing some mail, and they say it's because of a suspected mail thief. There are some pretty good surveillance photos here of this suspect. She allegedly stole the mail yesterday in the area of 200 East Vine Street. Detectives say she then drove off in what appears to be a dark-colored minivan. If you know anything, contact Murray Police or reach out to them on their Facebook page. New at 5, a Utah family who lost a son in a motorcycle accident is speaking out. 18-year-old Hunter Siddell died this past weekend. Shelby Siddell, Hunter's sister, says that he crashed while competing in an RMX Series race at Bunker Hill Dirt Racetrack in Delta on Saturday. Her family and friends were actually there, witnessed the accident. Shelby says she's an EMT. She tried administering life-saving measures on her brother.
My dad was the very first one to him because my dad seen him go down. And then my mom yelled, and so I ran over as fast as I could because I was across the track. And when I got to him, I could see that he wasn't there.
And coming up on News 4 Utah at 6, Rosie Nguyen tells us how Hunter's family and friends will honor him later this week.
Happening today, dealing with complaints of harassment at work. According to surveys, 9 out of 10 employers will get one of these complaints in 2018. So the Employers Council is addressing the issue with its first ever harassment prevention and investigation course.
This is a topic that everyone wants to make sure they get out ahead of, and everyone wants to make sure they're doing the right thing. And honestly, when we do these trainings or other trainings that Employers Council provides, that's what we're seeing a lot of engagement, a lot of questions, a lot of making sure they're doing the right thing.
Now, the course gives management teams the tools needed to perform an internal investigation. Council leaders say a good investigation can help resolve workplace problems and defend against lawsuits. Also happening today in Oklahoma, schools shut down after a massive teacher walkout. The teachers are asking for better pay and better class funding. Now, this comes on the heels of teacher walkouts across the country, starting with the first one in West Virginia last month. That was followed by a strike in Kentucky yesterday. Now teachers in Arizona are also threatening to strike. Those teachers say they want a 20% pay raise. Back here in Utah, we wondered where our teachers stand in terms of salaries. A starting wage for the state here for a new teacher, just over $35,000, making us 32nd in the country. Now, when asked about walkouts, members of the Utah Education Association say that probably won't happen here. They say the state legislature has some promising long-term plans.
When it comes to women earning a graduate degree, Utah has one of the lowest rankings in the nation. So why aren't women here pursuing those higher degrees? And can we change that trend? News 4 Utah's Sarah Martin went to find out.
I loved school, and it wasn't until I was pregnant with my daughter that I felt for the first time in my life like I didn't belong at school anymore.
Amber Bird is a young mother with baby number 2 on the way, and she's starting on her master's degree in September.
Kids in tow doesn't make a woman any less able to accomplish something.
Today she spoke to the Women in the Economy Commission about her struggle being a mother and a student and how Utah can do better. The commission funded a study that found the gender gap is all but closed when it comes to bachelor's degrees here in Utah.
It's accurate to say that since 2010, men's and women's bachelor's degree attainment, or the percent of Utah adults who are men and women who hold only a bachelor's degree, is about the same.
But when it comes to women enrolled in graduate degree programs, Utah ranks number 46 in the country. The commission has the power to use this report to make recommendations to the legislature.
I hope we do more research. I hope we do more to find the causal associations between what we saw in the data. Why is family formation associated with lower educational attainment for women?
When my youngest was 1 year old, I just decided, you know what? No more. I'm going to go to school. That'll be good for me, and that'll be good for my kids.
Kathy Bonus is a commission member and a lawyer who earned all 3 of her degrees while raising her 3 daughters. She says the report was validating, but it's just a start.
The more we talk about this, the more women can see that there are pathways forward and that their barriers are not unique, that other people have the same barriers and that there are solutions to overcoming them.
Reporting from Salt Lake City, I'm Sarah Martin, News 4 Utah.
And you can find that full report on our website at good4utah.com. Governor Herbert may soon ask the federal government to actually help struggling areas here in Utah, including 16 in Salt Lake County. The proposed opportunity zones include portions of Midvale, West Jordan, Taylorsville, Magna, and many areas in Salt Lake County's northwest quadrant. Now, the new federal tax code allows for investors to receive tax breaks for buying into these lower income areas and creating jobs. Salt Lake County Mayor Ben McAdams is leading that effort.
What this investment will mean is a certain area may change. As investment comes in, you're going to see jobs and economic development.
Now, the governor has until April 20th to select the areas that he will ask Washington to help with. The full list of the proposed opportunity zones is on our website with the story at good4utah.com. And if you want to weigh in on this, tonight at 5:30, there will be a public meeting at the Salt Lake County Government Center.
Cleaning our air one vehicle at a time. A local energy company has launched a new project to make cleaner gas. State and local leaders joined Endeavor, formerly known as Tesoro, for the groundbreaking ceremony at the refinery. Now, this Tier 3 gasoline project creates a cleaner, low-sulfur fuel option that will lower emissions up to 81% for newer vehicles and up to 13% for those older vehicles.
At the end of the day, I just say one thing. It's just the right thing to do for the community and for our company.
Now, construction on the project is set to begin immediately. Tier 3 fuel should hit the market by the end of summer 2019. Still ahead on the news at 5, raising the flag to save a life. More on the Donate Life flags now flying at Utah transplant centers. Plus,
a Morgan right in Washington, and Senator Sheldon Whitehouse is working to give vets a 1-year grace period before foreclosure. I'll have more coming up.